Thickness isn't uploading. It's live. Hi guys. So Patrick, we're live right now on Facebook. Hey Patrick, can you hear me? Patrick, your microphone.
Yes, I can. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, hey guys, if you are watching us live on Facebook, I want to say welcome to the All Market Club Fest Seminar Show. Uh, we have with us here Patrick Williams. But before I introduce Patrick Williams, I just wanted to say that networking is essential for building wealth. And it has been said that your network is your net worth. All right. So my name is Vindra Paragor, and I'm your host for today. And I'm so excited to have all of you here. So if you're here, please comment, like, share the video, and create a watch party if you can. Bring all your friends, and we are gonna have fun. All right. So Patrick, a brief biography for Patrick. Patrick is a dynamic person. I've met him, I've known him for a few weeks now, and it's just been awesome knowing him. That's what we're talking about, networking, okay? So Patrick graduated with technology education degree in 2014, and he has a master's degree in school counseling in 2016. Oh, wow. And Patrick also just recently started his college education, like a school, like for undergrads, teaching them or mentoring them to be prospective future teachers. So Patrick, yeah, tell us more about you.
Well, first off, it's so amazing to be here right now. And I met, Vindra in a previous group, and it was just amazing hearing each
Thank
other's
you.
stories and stuff. And it's just so much, it was really cool. We, connected very well. And I'm just so happy to be in front of you guys right now. But yeah, no, thank you so much. I mean, so like Vindra said, I graduated with a technology education degree, and all that means is anything technology related, like anything from robotics to like even like woodworking to anything electronics or anything technical at all. I'm actually qualified to teach in the K through 12 school
Nice.
environment. And then I graduated with a master's degree in school counseling, so I can also go into a guidance counseling position or school counseling, whichever one would work. So, and then it wasn't always an easy journey to get to school. It was never like where I live in Pennsylvania, it was extremely hard to get a teaching position here. And like it took me three years total. I remember I just talked to a recent friend. They said, it's funny, I just thought a teaching position would be kind of stapled to your degree, and that just is not the case whatsoever. It took a very long time. And part of what Vindra just said in the opening, part of what got me to where I am was networking. Part of me was just, it was all putting myself out there, building building authentic and genuine relationships with people. And it really, that's what kind of led me to my position right now, where I am right now. So I became very frustrated
Nice.
early on, a lot of self-doubt. Like I didn't know if I was gonna have to move, or I didn't know if I was gonna have to switch careers or anything like that. But I decided to kind of stop myself. I decided to take kind of a journey, and I said, every school that I go into, when I substitute teach, I'm just going to talk to every teacher I can and figure out how to get past this interview process, because it's like a 3 to 4 step interview process.
Wow.
And after talking to hundreds of teachers, I filtered out all the bad information. And when 2017 came up, that one position in the school that I'm at now, I went in just with my biggest A game you can probably ever have. And
Wow.
long story short, like a week or two later, they called me, they sent me an email offering me the position, to which I accepted it. So it's really cool to get that little badge or achievement. But also what happened was I kind of transformed myself. I didn't even know that I was doing it, but I became a better teacher because of that. I got to know a lot about like networking. Like that's exactly what happened. I networked with hundreds of people, and just by that alone got me opportunities that I originally would never have.
Wow, Patrick, that's so awesome. It's so good to hear your story and hear people. By the way, like I said before, Patrick is starting a program, not a college program, but a program, a course where he's going to be teaching and mentoring future teachers, undergraduate college students who want to learn and be better at teaching, teaching others as well. So, Patrick, today our topic is, ta-da, drum roll, bum, 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 bum. Our topic, our topic is our topic is building relationships. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, what kind of relationship are we talking about here? Most people are like, oh, we're talking about building a romantic relationship. What kind of relationship are we talking about here? And can you define what you mean by building relationships? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, yeah, whenever it's funny, whenever, we were kind of talking about what to talk about and what we feel like people would kind of benefit from in everyday life. I mean, what is something people can benefit from everyday life or from work or from just even online? And how I got to where I am was really all because of just building relationships. And the people that I've gotten to know, not only just in career ways, but just in everyday life. I mean, part of one of the human needs that I learned in school counseling was love and belonging, which kind of implies building relationships with people. Everybody likes to feel loved and everybody likes to feel belonged to somewhere. And so I feel like if we're going to pick a topic, why not meet a human need? So, and that is,
Awesome.
building relationships. So part of that is.
Exactly.
And what we're going to talk about today is really can be applied today. It can be applied today in anybody you talk to, whether it's a career
Yes.
related thing, whether it's I just met a person in the world today, or maybe you want to get closer to one of your friends, or maybe you just want to add more value to people. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter at all. These principles are so widely accepted
You're
and
right.
applied in the world that you can't go wrong.
You're right. I like that. So where we're going to start from? We're starting from, I think now this is just it. Guys, if you're on Facebook and you're watching us live, you better comment, you better share the video, and make sure you're interacting with us because this is going to be fun. And guess what? At the end of the day, we are announcing the winner for the Throwback Thursday challenge. So if you posted an old picture of yourself, yes, this is the day where you get your chance to win. And so today we're also going to give more information about next week's program. So I'm hoping that you all watch to the end of the show. All right. So Patrick, let's just start on. So we were discussing about this yesterday, and we said beauty relationship starts with value and beliefs and basically just knowing even what you believe in, like as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And we were discussing this and we were asking ourselves, like, what makes a great person? So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's kind of a broad topic, and I picked it on purpose because that way we can talk about a lot of different things. So, um, whenever you think about, just becoming a great person, and I want you all right now, you could just do this imaginative exercise, with me and with Vindra and myself. Like, when you think of a great person out in the world, like if you meet someone and you say that man, that person is amazing. Like, I don't know what it is, but this person is just so cool and so welcoming and warm and good-hearted. And what is that person? Well, let's break it down, right? Like, what is that person saying? How is that person acting? What is this person behaving like? And I read a book a long time ago, and it kind of went over 6 different ways to get people to like you instantly. And it was a really cool
Nice.
thing. So I'm just actually gonna kind of go down all of them, maybe talk about them briefly, but I'm gonna be a little like kind of scattered, but I hope everything makes sense. I think everything might be scattered, which is if you know me, I can get scatterbrained sometimes, but everything always kind of comes full circle sometimes. So,
Right.
but yeah, along with like identifying what is this person doing? How are they behaving and what are they doing and what are they doing with their mannerisms? I mean everything. I mean from eye contact to are they smiling to is the focus more on you or is the focus on them? And so think about everything like that. And one of the first principles, one of the first 6 ways to get people to like you is to honestly, and some of these might seem a little just basic,
Or
but I'm telling
a
you, like,
basic.
just because it's basic doesn't mean it's not true, doesn't mean it carries value. And I'll talk about every single one of them a little bit. So first one is becoming like genuinely interested in people. And that means getting to know their background. What's their backstory? What kind of struggles are they having right now? Keep the frame
Yeah.
on them. Whenever the conversation frame, become genuinely interested. So Vindra and I were meeting again for the first time. I'm gonna want to know her backstory.
On
Like
Facebook.
I want to know her other than just another face in the world. I want to know who she is as a person. What does she value in life, and what does she find important? You know, maybe that could be family. So let me ask you, Vindra, what are some things in life that you find important or things that you value? Maybe like two
Well,
things. Just think of 2 things that you find really important in life.
obviously, one is my family.
Yeah.
Of course, the first one comes first. I value my relationship with God. I believe so much in my religion, not just even my religion, but in the in the God of all, the Creator, and so much. So I value the one thing that no one can really take away from me is my relationship with God, and then the next thing is my family. Lots of people think like, I'm a daddy's girl, I'm a daddy's girl, but it is true. I am a daddy's girl. so my
Fair enough.
family, so my family comes first, and yeah, and then I can talk about other things like friends, you know,
Hmm.
then other, education. I love to read, and then my values, of course, like my what would you say, my interest and purpose as well. Yeah, is there?
Yeah. So when
What
are you
about
first?
you? Tell me about you.
Yeah, no. So real quick, see everything that Vindra just said. So what I'm going to do in my head, there's a thing called hook theory. Everything
Okay.
she just said, I'm going to put on an invisible hook. She mentioned God and her relationship to God. She mentioned family. She mentioned she's, a daddy's girl, but that's okay. That's fine. We still, it's all good. Um, that just means she has a good relationship with her father. That means she looks up to her dad. That implies to me that, um, she may have learned a lot from her father. He took her under his wing and introduced her to a lot of great people, stuff like that. And then um, she kind of mentioned values a little bit at the end. So everything's on a hook. Every little topic's on a hook now. So if I want to continue this conversation, I just pull one of those hooks. I pull one of those topics, and I say, let's say she mentioned all that good stuff, which is great. Maybe I can pull one of those hooks and say, hey, you mentioned your dad. Tell me more about the relationship with your dad. What is he so um what is it that you value so much in your father and stuff like that? What did your father show you in life? So I can pull those, what I'm saying? Like I can pull different hooks. And I kind of learned that
Yeah,
from another book, but
I
that's for
understand.
another day. So, but by myself, I mean, really, I have a vision for myself and in the world where I want to become the best person I can be so I can bring the best out in others and then they can bring the best out in others. And therefore, by doing that, we can self-sacrifice each other to pull everybody on top of a mountain together. So whenever you hit an achievement point, for example, when I went through my journey of finding a teaching position, and how I mentioned in my story, I ended up, after a lot of preparation, being able to start my life as a teacher. But just, there's more to that. It's starting. I opened up a new chapter in the book of Patrick. You know what I mean? Like when you achieve something, it's a new chapter. But there's also 2 things that need to happen. You need to achieve something and you need to be fulfilled by something,
Okay.
because um, success without achievement is the ultimate failure. You have to feel
True.
transformed.
True.
You have
Yeah.
to feel. That's why I always tell people to establish meaningful visions for themselves. When you have a vision in the future, how you see the world, that's why it's called a vision. High emotion to that, because that way you'll meet both things. You'll achieve it eventually. You will, as long as you keep going. And like whenever you have a vision and it's strong enough with emotion, you'll keep going regardless of what obstacles in the way because there's emotion tied to it. But as long as there's emotion tied to it, you're going to transform. You need to do both. You need to succeed and you need to transform. You'll achieve it and then transform too. So it's always important to do both, because it's the people that just achieve that. When people achieve but don't get that fulfillment, or they don't transform, that's when they're just like they kind of live an empty life. They just achieve to achieve, or they fall short.
Great point.
They just fall short. It's like, if you want to start working out, you want to start losing weight, whatever it is, and then people just stop, that's because there wasn't enough meaning behind it. You didn't have enough, and then the journey you take is the purpose. It becomes a purposeful journey towards whatever it is. But anyway, we're talking about building relationships, so we can get back on that. So one of the, but more, about me and just, being a teacher and everything. And because it was so hard for me to land a position, that's what landed me to start this idea of there's so many things I wish I knew. While I was on my journey, I was like, there are so many things I wish I knew about this whole process of starting your life as a teacher. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. And so I decided to, create, a little online business where I help undergraduates who want to be teachers navigate this path. I created a vehicle or a path for these people. Therefore, they can just walk through it and avoid all that pain. And they get to start their lives in a much easier way.
Very impressive.
Because whenever you achieve something, remember, my vision for my life was I got to keep pulling people up. You shouldn't stand on top of the mountain and beat your chest. You can't do that. You got to help
I just want to say that I wanted to also say that's one of the vision behind Old Mark Youth. It's to mentor people, and so that you can also mentor others. So what Patrick is doing is very dynamic. Some of you out there, and I want you to just comment right now. Comment on the things that you do. What is your greatest strength? What is it that Patrick, for him, he knows that what he wants to do is to mentor young undergrad college students who can also find teaching job very interesting, and most likely find that position easier than he did. So if you have a superpower and you have something in your mind that you want to do, so comment it down there and tell us what is it that you want to do. We're going to look through this. This is us getting familiar with you and you getting familiar with what the club is all about. Yeah, Patrick, go on. I'm sorry. Hello. Patrick, can you hear me?
Sorry about that. So one of the other, all I said was I enjoy whenever, you come in like that. That's absolutely great. Feel free to. It's always amazing to hear. And I mentioned earlier about, 6 ways to get people to like you. And one of those other ways is to simply smile. People love people that smile. Have you ever... Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Remember at the top, I said some of these might sound kind of basic. Well, that sounds basic, doesn't it? Smile. You would think everybody does that, but next time you go to the grocery store, look at how many people are just not smiling, not in a good mood. They're not they're just kind of there,
I know.
or if a couple is there, sometimes they're not smiling. They're having a rough time. But what I'm saying is, think about, have you ever been, or if you ever been, or think of a movie, because it's in movies all the time. Whenever, you always see that scene where someone is waiting for someone at the airport. They're waiting for them to land, and they're waiting to see each other for the first time. Or, maybe one person was gone for a long time, and then that person gets to an airport, right? And then all of a sudden, the girl sees the guy, or the guy sees the girl, or whatever it is, the friend sees the friend. And what happens? They just run up, hug like crazy. They're so excited to see you. They're so excited to be in your presence, and they just enjoy you because, well, not only do they miss you, but you're important. You're a valuable person in that person's life.
Very true.
That's exactly how you have to be when you meet people. I promise you it works. Everybody loves that feeling of just I feel cherished. I feel important. Yeah. Make people feel like that. I do that to my friends. That's a little mission I have for myself. Whenever I meet people, I tell myself, I want to make this person feel better than they were before they started talking to me. That's just you can steal that. Anyone can steal that. People love feeling important. People love feeling valued. People love feeling like they matter because they do. People matter.
That's true.
And if
They
you
do.
you can't, if you just go around life, if you look for the negativity, you'll not only find it, but you will be negative. But if you keep looking for positivity, you find positive, and you'll be, always in a good mood. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, a smile does wonders. Every morning when I walk into school, I smile at that secretary. I give her the airport welcome. It's like because I know that she is important, but also she kind of secretaries run the building. I mean, they really do. Secretary,
Yeah,
you
they
want to be
do.
nice to everybody. Do that to everybody, because that you'll be the most popular kid ever with everybody. So and then the next thing is remembering people's names. There's no better sound to a person than hearing their name. Whenever you can remember a name, I mean, have you ever this happened to me before, if I haven't seen someone for a while that I met really briefly, and I'm like, oh, I'll just use you for example, Vindra. Like, oh, hi, Vindra. Sometimes you'll even get, you remember my name? Oh my God. It's like people are like,
So true. So true.
so, and then they just light up and they're like, this person is awesome. I love this person. One of the
It's
fourth
true.
things is, yeah, have you ever had an experience like that, Vindra, where like you were kind of surprised that someone remembered your name and you were like all happy?
Not even that. It's not even that. Sometimes I forget people's names.
Yep.
I'm guilty of that.
Yep.
And that's one of my weakest points. I forget people's names and people's birthdays. So what I do is I have a notebook that I write this information about all my friends. Not my diary, I mean like a notebook. So I just write down and I okay, remember Patrick, your birthday is in May. It's on May 19th. So you see now, because I wrote it down, now I can remember. But if I don't write it down, oh boy, I could go like
Mm-hmm.
Cindy or Lena, then I'm off. I'm off at that time. And it's really offensive. It's really offensive. I've been in a situation where someone literally called me by a name that is not even mine. That's like,
That happens. What I do, sometimes I cheat.
yeah, you're
I'll
right.
use my phone for like notes. And like if I meet someone, I'll just like go in real quick. I'll record a note. I'll be like, awesome person I met at the grocery store. And then like, Vindra. It's like and then but I'll eventually delete it. But like, it's just at first it's like, because here's the thing, when you meet
Yeah,
somebody first, sometimes it is hard. It is hard. So
yeah,
if you're at a
it's true.
networking event and you don't get a business card or anything, then you can just maybe, I don't know, Apple. There's an Apple booth somewhere, or a Microsoft booth somewhere. Excuse me. You met one of the representatives. Log in your phone real quick. When you call that person, you say, "Hey, Bill, what's going on?" Or "Hey, whoever it is." They're gonna be shocked. They're gonna be like, "Oh my God." They're gonna be like, "Whoa!" Like, I do that all the
Remember
time.
my name. It's true. That
One
is
of the next.
actually
Go ahead.
so sorry. I wanted to say that is very important when it comes to networking. Like we're talking about guys, we're talking about building relationships, and that's what he's saying. How do you get a person to like you? If you want to build a relationship, you get people to like you. And if you remember, you go to an event. I remember when I first went to the United Nations in Nairobi, the first one in Nairobi, and I had this great network of people. How do you get them to be your friends? How do you get them to stay being your friends? How do you even get people in this group to stay being your friends? You need to first, like Patrick is saying, of course, now Facebook is a link, it's a what? It's like already the people's names on Facebook. You're gonna get Patrick Williams on Facebook, but it's important that you always remember people's names because that way you can build, that relationship with a person even before you network, or establish some sort of business partnership with them. Go on.
100%. Yeah, that's one hot. I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. You have no idea the power of a name. If you remember someone's name, I'll tell you a quick story. You ready for this one? I feel like this is what got me one of my teaching positions. It was a long-term substitute teaching opportunity, which means there was a teacher that was out for an extended amount of time for whatever reason. It could have been a surgery. It could have been maybe there was a family issue. It doesn't you know what I mean? It just ranges so much. But this teacher's out for 6 weeks. They posted the position. I went in, I applied. And again, at this time, I was kind of in the middle of my purposeful journey. I was still interviewing teachers. I was still asking a lot. So I was getting some pretty good information. I went in, and it was one of the most affluent school districts, not only in the region, but in the state of Pennsylvania. And I wanted to work there since I was a high schooler. I know that sounds cliche, but it is. I mean, it's true. And I went in. There were multiple people that applied for it. It was like in the middle of the school year, so you know what I mean. Like a lot of people probably weren't applying, but there were a lot of people were applying for this position. And I went in, and all the answers they asked me, like I found out and through other teachers, and not only that, but I found out how to answer them too. So I just went in and I was on top. But before that, if I didn't do that, I would have been very stuck. So they ended up calling me. They called my references, which means if they call your references, that means they're very serious. Like they want to make sure that you're a good person, that everything you said in that interview runs parallel to everything you've done in your past. I had to do a drug test. I had to do all my background checks. I mean, they were serious. They wanted someone, even if it was for 6 weeks, they wanted someone that, you know, was going to be a good person. So, I got a call from them and they offered me the position. And I went in. So, well, here's the thing. Whenever the secretary called me to schedule an interview before, like when I applied, they called me to schedule an interview. I remember the secretary's name. I wrote it down. Her name was Janet. And so, or Jeanette. Now, isn't that ironic? I can't remember now. That was a long time ago. It was a long, long time. I'm pretty sure it was a Jeanette. So I went in. I said, hi, are you Jeanette? Hi, my name is Patrick Owens. I believe I spoke to you on the phone. I just want to say it was wonderful to hear from you, and it's an honor to be here today. So I said, and then I went into the interview. So, okay, I got it and everything. I did my long-term sub, and then they observed me in the classroom. So whenever, and after a teacher observation, you have a conference with the principal. It's just a one-on-one. How'd you do? You know, it's just, you know, it's like a post-observation. So I went in, we had the post-observation, everything was cool. And then whenever I left the office, I said hi to Jeanette again. We made brief conversation. She's like, I just want to let you know something. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? Is there something I can help you with? And she says, before you got hired, I told the principal that you remembered my name. And I told her how powerful that was. Now, listen, I don't know if that had anything to do with me getting hired. That's never a bad thing, though. It's never a bad thing. So
that is a good one.
Remember people's names. I honestly, I don't think that's the reason why I got hired. It may have been a factor, but that's a true. My right hand to God. That is a true story. So,
thank you.
So one of the next ones that we can talk about is, be a good listener and encourage others about themselves. So, Vindra, you and I talked about earlier about, in previous days about being listening with empathy. So what's the difference between sympathy and empathy? Sympathy is just kind of listening to listen. Like you always feel like I always kind of tie the word sorry to sympathy. It's just like you feel sorry for somebody. It's not that you are sorry for somebody, but you just feel sorry for them. You're kind of listening on a surface level. You're just like, I'm hearing, like, let's say Vindra is opening up about, something, maybe a failure that she experienced in life. And, oh, I'm so sorry, Vindra. Oh, I'm sorry. That must suck. You'll get them next time. You'll just get it next time. You know what I mean? And it's like those people just almost don't even add value to you. You're just like, okay, like this person's just listening in one ear and out the other. And when you listen with empathy, you say, you're listening for feelings and emotions. You're kind of being like a little bit of an investigator, like you're kind of like a little bit of a counselor. So what is Vindra feeling during this experience? Well, maybe she's feeling a little inferior. Maybe she might be somewhat insecure. So how can you help her or this other person overcome these feelings of anxiety But anxiety is even kind of surfaced a little bit. Like when someone comes to me, like if I was a counselor and someone would come to me and say, I feel anxious, I'd be like, all right, we got to peel this onion. Like anxiety is just, it's too broad. It's too general. You need to kind of narrow that down. What are you anxious about? Like, what is it that you're anxious about? Well, I'm anxious. I don't know what people are going to think of me. That's a little bit deeper than anxiety, isn't it? So be sure to listen for feelings and then help that person get through those feelings of whatever it is.
Wow, that's very unique. Honestly, like I know, we all know the meaning of sympathy and empathy, but sometimes we don't really practice it. It's like you just know the meaning at the back of your head and you kind of like simulate the both of them. So you're both, you're doing the same thing at the same, like you're doing two things at the same time. So instead of empathizing with someone, you say, oh, I'm sorry, stuff like that. I do that a lot. And then after some time, if I know that, like, because texting sometimes can you can miscommunicate sometimes by texting. So it's always best, I think the best way to empathize with someone is to call them on the phone and try to get their emotions. When you call someone, it takes a long way, like it goes a long way than just a text. Because sometimes you're texting the person and maybe they're distracted, maybe you are distracted. So calling is very essential as well. I think
I'm so happy you said that because I'm, I guess you can just say I'm old school. Like people would say, oh, you like to call people. Yeah. No, I'm like, I get to hear your voice or I get to see your face. And, we have the world in our pocket, and so like, just, talk to somebody and see their face. And I always like calling people and calling friends. And you just build a better relationship that way. Texting is good for logistics. Where's the restaurant? It's here. Like, where did you park? Like, it's good for like logistics. It's not good for building an emotional connection with somebody. It's just not. And so that's when, I don't know. People get mixed up. But so moving on real quick to the last two, and I'll kind of briefly just talk about these real brief, and we can move on to a conversation that's more specific on networking and kind of like how to get what you want basically and how to start your life in different ways. So talk in terms of so the fifth one is talk in terms of other people's interests. And that's kind of, we kind of talked about that a little bit throughout the conversation so far. Talk in terms of other people's interests. So just find out, along with listening with empathy, talk about, keep the frame on them. Whenever you're talking to somebody, everyone's favorite topic is themselves. And so like, you can always talk about yourself, but whenever you really dive deep into somebody else, you're all of a sudden different from all the other people that come up to them because, oh, hi, Vindra, how are you? Instead of going like this, you could say, oh, I teach, I do this, I've done seminars, I've done, whatever. That's not fun. It's like, well, what if I came up to you and said, hey, like, what? So tell me your story. Like, what made you want to go for your college degree? Like, what made you want to, start this little group here on Facebook? Keep it on them. And then the sixth one is well, we kind of talked about this a lot. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, like you better. That kind of goes with the whole airport scene. Making that other person feel important. So that's actually where my little vision or mission comes from. Whenever I talk to people, I'm like, every person I talk to, I want to make them feel better than they were before they started talking to me.
Wow.
And so if you can do that, and that could be like you can do that by just giving them a hug. You could do that by, or if you're a guy, you can like high five like that and then come around like this, whatever it is. But just make them feel better. Make them feel better in some kind of way. And
Patrick, I wanted to ask: is this for someone you just met? For instance, if you go for an event, because how do you relate this to an event? If you go for an event and you talk to the person the first time, this is a business event, right, or an official meeting, and you want to make this person feel much better than when you met them, or than when you started the conversation. I know some really nice people. I have some friends, when they just start a conversation with someone they just met, the next thing they're planning for a dinner in the evening, or they're saying, "Oh, we're meeting up tomorrow." It's because of the way they go with the conversation. Just like you're saying, they have this skills and this really nice way of telling people, making people feel very important. So how do you do that, for instance, in an event?
Yeah, in an event way. So, you can steal a couple of these. So whenever I go to an event, like I remember going to like this big like teacher, this was in 2014, whenever right before I graduated. There were all these school. It was a big venue, just like a big hall. And like there was a bunch of tables set up. There were schools from all across the country here in the US. And it's like, well, how in the world do you distinguish yourself? Like, I mean, and one of the things that we all have in common, regardless of who you are, where you live, is emotions. So if you can somehow make the conversation emotional,
Nice.
they're like, whenever I go to, I always shake their hand and, of course, look in the eye, I smile. And before they even ask about me, I'm like, well, tell me about your school. Like, tell me about your idea. And there's actually a rule real quick. I want to make sure I get this right. I have it up here in a tab here.
Okay.
So if you just allow me to kind of find it real quick, because it's going to help out a lot. And okay. So techniques in handling people:
Okay.
don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. No one likes a person that complains, ever. Like, I don't think I know one person that likes anybody that complains. So, if you're in an event, what really helps is actually having a little script in your head, for whenever you meet somebody. I'll use an example of when I see students outside of school, and you can definitely apply this to events. So, one of the things about being a teacher, one of the things that comes along with being a teacher, this honestly happens. This can happen to anybody, from a doctor to you to really anybody. But when you're a teacher, what comes along with being a teacher is like a little community, like, just known. Like, you're kind of known just because you're a teacher. You're kind of, you're like a miniature public figure almost. And I kind of like that, but I don't like that at the same time. So, whenever I go out in public and I see a student, and especially if it's a female student, sometimes they'll run up to me. Sometimes that, every once in a while I'll get like a hug or like a half hug, but most of the time it's just a scream. It's just like, "Yo, Mr. Williams," or like, it's some kind of acknowledgement that I'm there. And so and especially if they're with their parents, that's when it gets really interesting, because I've made this mistake many times before. I developed this script in my head. So what I say now, especially if it's a female student, same thing with a male, but when it's female, it's different, because here's the thing, and I don't mean to sound any kind of wrong right now. Vindra, like you and I right now, we are blessed in the world with our age and where we are in our life right now, that we look young. We still look pretty young. Now I know people in their 30s and even in their 40s that look really young. So I'm not discriminating age. I'm just saying that right now in life, especially whenever I was in my early 20s, 21, 22, and I was active in schools, I looked even more young than I already do. So whenever a female student would see me, I have to explain to, her father or her parents how I know her 13-year-old daughter. That's a scary situation. It can be very. And so what I used to do was, like, I just introduced myself, but I wouldn't explain how this person knew me, how this student knew me. But what I do now is I'm so robotic with it. I'm just like, "Hi, my name is Patrick Williams. I'm a teacher at this school, and I have your daughter in class." It's exactly what I do. And then what that does is give the parents, like, "Oh, okay, like, I understand." So, but usually they'll say Mr. Williams. So that usually tells the parent, "Oh, this must be like a teacher." But sometimes the parents won't, know that. And so, like, I'll go up and say, "My name is Patrick, my name is Patrick Williams. I'm a teacher at your daughter's school, and I have her in my second period technology class."
Wow.
And she's really awesome. She's a great student. Sydney, tries really hard. She does all, and then I again, I'm building the frame around her.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She's this, she's that. I'm encouraging. I'm not saying she's, you know, not performing and she's failing and all that stuff. Keep it very positive.
Let me
And
just give an example of that. Like in Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria, and back home, if your teacher meets your mom and you are a stubborn student, it's crazy. They'll just go straight to the point. This is your daughter, very stubborn. This child, they just tell the parents from scratch, especially if you do something that week that is very offensive, that's it, you're gone. And our parents back home are very, they're not like, the white people. For you guys, it's kind of, friendship, relationship. For our parents, it's quite the opposite. If you misbehave, you get flogged, you get grounded, stuff like that. So our teachers are not our best friends, actually.
yeah, I mean, it's you have to be careful. You just have to. Um, the only reason why I made that script was because I didn't know what to say before. You know what I mean?
True.
And you'll just
True.
have those moments in life. You'll have those moments where you're caught off guard, and then you just
Yeah.
immediately think of something to fix that. So the next time that comes up, it's great and it's fine. And what I used to say was like, just a bunch of just nonsense, really. So kind of getting back on the focus of just in networking and everything. Whenever
Okay. Okay.
I always, now apply this in whatever industry or whatever you're doing. But for teaching, it's just I use a lot of the same principles that we just went over. I remember their name. I be a good listener. So I'll ask them a lot of questions. I ask questions to them. Where do you want to see your school in 5 years? What are you guys currently doing in your school? And, what are your students, what kind of programs do you have for your students? What kind of tech programs do you have for your students? Kind of almost flip the script and let them sell you as to why you should go. It's kind of a clever thing. It's like, well, why should I come over? That's actually what I do in interviews. Whenever I go to interviews and they say, do you have any questions for us? I'll say like, well, I'll ask them, what are your expectations of this teacher coming into this position? And then I'll ask, there's a lot of great schools here in Pennsylvania. What are some things that, your school sets you apart from everybody else? I know plenty of people that have the same like I'm like that now. Like,
True.
and because honestly, it gives them a great opportunity to brag about themselves. And that's fine. That's exactly what I want.
Makes sense.
I want them to kind of I want them to dig deep with me. And those are the ways, like whenever you do these little things, whenever you do a lot of little things like this, that's what distinguishes you. People kind of get in their heads, like, I have to do one thing that distinguishes myself. No, do a bunch of small things. It's like when you fall in love with somebody, you didn't fall in love like immediately, really. I mean, like you may have been super attracted, or you might have been super interested and super just like into this person or whatever. But like, it's these little actions throughout the period of your relationship where you're just like, oh my gosh, like I love this person. Like, it's these little consistent actions, little distinguished points where you're just like, wow, this person's meeting my needs. This person's like giving so much value to my life. And it's over and over and over again. And it's very actionable. Like I can remember all the times this person did everything to make me feel this way. I hope this person keeps doing it. It's like, so.
But well, many people don't. I think many people, at first, like I've had an experience where you meet someone at first and they could be really very nice to you. It's okay because they want to play all this, 6 ways of making you like them. But at the end of the day, or as time goes on, you realize that these people, not because that's not who they are, but it's just because they wanted to get you to like them. And then after some time, they change. I think they do. It's more like, is this the same person? There's quite, it's anyway, that's not the topic. Let's just go forward.
It's not just with relationships. It's just, I mean, even a relationship with my principal, for example, like my relationship with my principal has changed a lot, but like we still have the same vision.
No.
Same like belief.
Makes sense.
And as long as you can listen, even with people you don't get along with, if you're in an organization, say a school, so if we have a similar vision of how we want the world to look like, or how we want our students, what is the profile? Like when our students graduate, what is the profile? What all do we want them to have? What all do we want them to know? We all just work towards that. We can all get along in a civil way.
Makes sense.
And not complain and just, but so to kind of almost not to wrap everything up, but just to kind of recap a little bit. This can all kind of be summed up in just giving value to other people. Yes. I mean, really, that's really what it comes down to. It's making people. Yeah. So I almost don't like saying giving value to other people, because again, that's kind of general. And I'm a guy that I'm a person that likes kind of getting specific. Like you see a lot of people on the internet, they're like, oh, they're like giving almost general advice. They're like, give value to others. It's like, well, what is that? Like, what do you mean? I mean, I kind of know what you mean, but get a little bit more detailed with that. Like, exactly. What does giving value look like? What does it mean to be a good person? You know what I mean? So like giving value to others just simply means like making other people feel important. And it's like, well, how do you do that? It's like, you do that by remembering their name. You do that by the airports. By, how like when you see a dog in real life, the dog's always happy to see you. Be a dog.
Exactly.
Okay? Like, I mean, like when you see someone, I don't care if it's your best friend from elementary school or from when you were 5 years old. Welcome that person like you haven't seen them.
With love.
And this is important. Treat everybody as if you've known them all your life. So like that's the point. Yeah. Treat everybody like you've known them your whole entire life. Like like your best friends.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's in these ways that you build a relationship that lasts long. It's these ways that you become memorable. And it's these ways that people like. The better you can make other people feel, whether that's remembering their name, smiling at them, just asking them about their interests. Like what needs to happen? Like if you're sitting on the couch and you're talking to somebody and you start to feel good, you start to like this person, stop yourself and ask yourself, what is this person doing right now to make me like them? You know what I mean?
Very true.
Like start doing that in life. That's what I started doing a couple of years ago. Every time I started liking somebody, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay, I like this person. What are they doing? What happened? What happened up until now? And usually, almost always, they made me the focus. They were asking questions about my life. They made me feel important. Wow. They remembered my name. They gave me compliments. And they just did all that. And then I remembered them and I wanted to came out with them. They were like an authority and it was great.
I was going to say, like, maybe they smiled at you.
Yeah, just smile. Everyone likes people that smile. Everybody likes people that smile and everybody likes people that laugh.
True. It's very true. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for that. Is there anything else you wanted to share, like in terms of building this great networks? Like when you go out there, this is what I really want them to get, even on this group. Like just here in the All Market International Club, how can people really build that network? Because now they don't get a chance to smile, for instance, at the person that they do the video call. And not everyone, I think it's honestly for me, I prefer people that call, than text, because I'm not a texting person. I hate to text, but I also don't like to call everyone. Not because I'm being rude or bad, but there's just some people, you don't have that sort of friendship. You understand? You just met. Let's say it's not even about the networking. It's just, there's just some people you just don't want to call, maybe because of how, you just don't have the chemistry sometimes.
Yeah, I totally understand.
But how do you create that for someone like me? How do you help me, to be able to use, because if I don't feel it, how can I start feeling it and call people so I can be able to advance in my networking skills? Do you get the question?
I think I understand. I think so. I'm going to do my best. So you're saying like when you meet someone for the first time, maybe sometimes you just don't have enough time to build that relationship. Is that kind of on target?
Possibly.
So that could be a possible thing. So what I always do, before I take anything from people, before I ask anything, you have to build a relationship first. That's what I do with my students. I spend the first week or two just getting to know them, because whenever you get to know them and you come down to that person's level, like they will do, like
Awesome.
people don't uh what's the phrase, people don't learn from people they don't like. So like if you don't like someone, you're just gonna
You
focus,
barely learn.
you know what I mean? Like you gotta, I mean, that's not to say I'm gonna win over every single student or everybody in the classroom. What you will do is establish a certain level of respect and just honesty and like consistency. So for so going back on you, um, I would say, like, if you just go to an event, and you meet a lot of people, whatever, and you want to call people, first off, honestly, you just have to take action and just call. You got to show up. Part of success is showing up. You got to
Nice.
make the call. You got to take action.
That's nice.
And
That's
like,
nice.
I'm sorry, like, just to put it bluntly, like I've had to do that countless times. Like after every job I apply for, I know how to play this game. Like after I apply for a job, I call. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. People are like, "Oh, don't call after you interview. Don't call after you apply." That's a bunch of, you know what? Okay. Like, I mean, I call to make sure my resume got in their hands. I made sure so I call and I just keep building the relationship. Don't focus on anything else. Just,
Makes sense.
if you only talk to somebody for 5 minutes, which happens all the time. It happened to me. I mean, so I just call and I say, "Hey, you know what? Bluntly say it. You know what? We only talked for a little bit on the, in person at the event, or, first, let me start over. My name is Patrick, or, my name is Vindra. I don't want to mispronounce your last name, Aduara.
Thank you.
Close enough. My name is Vindra Aduara. I met, we met on, I don't know, May 25th at this event. And I really enjoyed talking to you for the short time that I did. And I just wanted to keep the conversation going. I know there was a lot of people there and everything, but, I'm very interested in your company. I'm very interested in what you have to offer. I'd love to learn more about you. I'd love to learn more about the backstory of the company and, what you're looking for in people. What kind of value would you want? Because I feel like I have value that can be an asset to you.
Makes sense.
And I just want to talk more and build. You can even say it. I just want to build more of a relationship with you. You can even
That
say
is very true.
like,
I wanted to ask again because I think this is just a general question that would be, maybe in the minds of a couple of people. What if, for instance, this person doesn't share the same beliefs? I'm not saying religiously, but I mean like same beliefs, cultural beliefs, from maybe background. Maybe I value my family, and there are just some people who maybe some circumstance happened and they don't have good relationship with their family, and so there's certain words they say, and you go like, well, my family is not like that. But you've seen some people that just very passive aggressive in a way,
sure.
but in a way, but in a way, how do you grow that? For instance, is it every kind of relationship you should keep? Number one, and two, how do you create a relationship with someone that doesn't have same values with you? Do you cut them off? Can you enlighten us on that?
Is this in terms of just general, like, people in the world or organizations?
I think because we're dealing with All Market Club, we can say generally, because maybe most people are not working and some of them are just finding their path yet. They're still trying to, sort out their destinies.
Yeah. So the question is all, what you're getting at, it's kind of the core of it is like if your values and visions don't kind of like align and everything like that. I mean, this is something I'm still currently working on too. I think what I found is like that no matter what, you guys can, whoever's involved, all parties involved, can find some kind of common ground, and you just work towards that.
Makes sense.
Like, I mean, it doesn't even matter how different your beliefs might be or anything, but there's a lot of things that I don't agree with teachers at my school. We always have one vision that we're working towards. It doesn't matter if we get along. As long as we're working towards the vision, then that's fine. But like it's something I'm still working on. I'm still something I even run into a lot too, is like, um, when you have just different beliefs and stuff, like how can you kind of move on or just go towards a greater good? And maybe you guys can just both work, even if you're different, you can just maybe form a new vision that you both agree on, you
Makes
know,
sense.
form a belief that you both can be on. And it's hard. I mean, honestly, I've told people before, like in an organization standpoint, I've been a part of schools that I don't like at all, that their value system was like messed up.
Different.
I didn't really agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the school is. I don't care what the organization is. Like you, it really helps to have similar, it helps to have your beliefs match their beliefs. And if we don't match up, don't be afraid to go find something better for yourself. Even if that means lower pay, you'll at least love doing what you're doing. And I just think
That's
of
awesome.
that.
That's awesome, Patrick. Thank you so much, Patrick. This has been really awesome. It's been how many? I think we've been out for a couple of minutes now, almost 45 or
Yeah,
more.
that's
And it's
great.
just been awesome learning the skills, smiling, talking to people based on their interests, getting to know their names, just simple, basic techniques. I believe I can call them techniques to get someone to like you and to create a good relationship with people. This is very key, Patrick. I just want to say thank you again. Is there anything else you want to add on this before we go to the next activity?
Vindra, this is so amazing. I give you so much credit for starting this group, and it's going to
Oh, thank
empower
you.
so many people. It's going to make such a big difference in people's lives. And
Oh,
I just, you're moving mountains over there. You really are. And so,
we all are.
one
Thank
step at a
you.
time, one step at a time, guys. And just to recap, think
Mhm,
about what makes a great person, have a vision for yourself, and not only that,
mhm,
but have a vision for like kind of like your work, career, life.
mhm.
How do you want to see yourself in the future, and take a purposeful journey towards that? That's what brings purpose. That really is, like,
Wow.
once you establish a vision with strong emotion and meaning to it, the journey you take is what purposeful journey. That's
Awesome.
what that's what it really, in
Purposeful
my
journey.
opinion. And then how to meet people, have some scripts in your head. You know what I mean? Like, um, part of why people get so anxious is people just aren't prepared. And whenever
True.
you're prepared, you can lower that anxiety.
True.
And what will make you prepared? Having scripts. What made me lower my anxiety going to the teacher interviews? Kind of networking with hundreds of different teachers and figuring out the answers to them. And
Wow.
all in all, to bring everything full circle, is to just give value to other people, make them feel important, make them feel loved, and meet that human need.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is all about giving value to other people. I'm so excited, Patrick. I'm so grateful to have you. I mean, the only reason why me and Patrick can be on this video call, someone I've never met, maybe some people think I met you sometime some years back.
So sure.
Honestly, honestly, I just met Patrick the other day, and now I could, I don't know if I brought any value to him yet, but I know that Patrick has brought a lot of value to me in this club as well. And I just want to say thank you again one more time. And I just want to say, if that's not what you're doing, if you're in all Marcute and you're not creating that connection, then guys, I think you're missing out. I think you're here for probably the wrong purpose. If you're in all market and you want to grow into building networks, into creating bigger relationships, into because we hope that someday we could all come file in one place, maybe after coronavirus, maybe sometime next year. And when we have those conferences and seminars, how do you lead the conference? And use these techniques to be able to, grow your business, your organization, even get better jobs. Most people don't want to have business organizations, but you want to get to the job, your dream job, or the jobs that you've always dreamed about. So it is important that you apply the skills. I hope we brought value to you today. And if you're watching us right now, we're just going to go to the next activity. And I'm so excited. Yay! Patrick, are you
So
excited with
wonderful.
me?
Thank you so much, Vindra. This is so cool and amazing, and I love everything
Thank
about this.
you. Thank you. So I just wanted to call the winner for the Thursday throwback Thursday.
Very nice.
And okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pick three people that I felt like their pictures were epic, was also um, way, way, way back. And they also followed instructions. So we posted a picture, we had a post on Thursday, and we said people should post all-time picture of themselves, hashtag Old Mac International Youth Club, and then share the post. So we're gonna check how many people shared the post, who has the most comment, and did you follow instruction? Did you hashtag? All My Cute Club. So I'm just gonna call because this. I don't know, Patrick. Can you see your Facebook from there? Can you? Are you able to?
I can get on my phone real quick.
Okay. So I'm just checking the names, and by the way, the winner. So after this, I'm gonna explain what the winner gets.
I have Facebook up.
Good. So I'm gonna explain what the winner gets from this. The first thing is our winner is going to. So we're gonna pick three people, and if you win at the end of this, you're going to get a free ticket to our first visual conference. So our first visual conference will be it's a digital business planning conference that we're going to bring experts, millionaires, and people who've been in the industry for digital business for quite some time. So we're gonna get you to interact with those people, get to be live with them one-on-one, ask questions about business, digital business plan. After coronavirus, what are you going to achieve from this? So we're going to give you a free ticket to our visual conference if you win the challenge. So, okay, I'm just going to get three people. So if I call your name, the three of you, and then again, I didn't say this, the winner also gets to advertise their business on the Allmark. Like you can post your pictures or your website or what you do on our Allmark youth page. So that would be great. So I hope you guys are all excited about this. So our winner, I have two people here. So I don't know, Patrick, if you can go down, can find Innocent Uzebo. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well. Innocent Uzebo. So Innocent, you're one of the winners. So how we're going to do this is, Innocent, will repost your picture and ask people to comment. So it's either Innocent or the other two people. And we're just picking one winner. So I'm sorry. So if I choose three people, then we all vote for the one person. Does that make sense, Patrick? I think I'm clear on that.
Yeah, Innocent liked the post, so I found him.
Great. his post was the caption on top of his post was 2008, 2016, 2020. Let's go there. Thank God. Oh, by the way, Innocent is disqualified. Ooh. That is so shocking. Guess why? Because Innocent does not have the hashtag. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. I'm sorry, my team picked it wrongly. Someone did this, but I just looked at the post. I wanted to confirm. No hashtag All My Cute Club. That's an X. Drum roll. That passed. Next on the list, so we're just going to pick from the other two people. And the other person here is Peace Azubike. Peace Azubike. Peace Azubike, I hope you can see this. If she's not here on live with us, she can be communicated to by our team. Peace Azubike. She said, hello everyone, I'm Peace. I'm hoping to have swell time here by Jude Onyeka. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Peace, for being part of this club. Okay, the next person here is our one and only Enu Linda Kim. She's from Nigeria. She says, hi everyone. This is me joining the Throwback Challenge 3 years ago. And she says, hashtag All My Cute Club. So Peace and Onu Linda are going to be the winner for our, they're going to be, we're going to post your pictures and then people get to vote for the two of you. Whoever becomes the winner from the two of you gets to be part of our first special conference for free. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have you two as the winner. I want to say, you guys, we're going to contact you personally and we're going to ask you what you do. And if it's something that we can advertise or help you bring out there, then we're going to make sure that that is what we're going to do. This is the call of All My Cute Club. So yeah, Patrick, I think we've come to the end of today's show. Hey, one more thing. Next week. So next week, the challenge for next week is to talk to a person you've never spoken to before on the group. So either you do that by chat or you do that on the group. I don't know how you're going to do it, maybe commenting someone's post or something, but talk to someone new, get to know them. And then on Friday, we're gonna have Friday wins. So whoever does that and do it the right way, like maybe if they come on live and tell us how what were the challenges and stuff like that. There is going to also be a prize for you next week on Friday. And then next week, we also have on Wednesday, one of our team members will be coming on live with you to tell you more about our group and what the week is all about, what next week is going to be all about, and the things that we have in stock for you. So looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday, and have a lovely, 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 lovely weekend. Patrick, do you want to say bye-bye to this, guys?
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It was awesome, Vindra. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Mwah. Bye, Patrick.
Have a great day,
Oh no,
everybody.
let's teach them this thing with Bulan. I thought you were gonna do this. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 bye.